How's it look?
I can't see until you go live. Is it live?
Yeah.
Okay. You're good.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live.
A sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream?
Hey, Lane the Fisherman. Ed Ranowski, how you doing?
You came over and you fell
Marky, how you doing, buddy? Joe Cascarino, what do you say, Joe? Mike Hayer's here.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down, knowing how you blue.
What's up, Nasty Bates? Show. What up, Matthew, buddy? Matthew Weimer, Scott Luckoff, Jim Orwig, Greg Plank, Panda Miller, David Schottlemeyer. What's up, man? Johnny Copp's here. Eric Albright. Al Armond, how you doing, buddy? Henry Churchill, Andre. What's up, buddy? Greg Hershey. Andy Pass, everybody's here tonight. Wow.
You know just what I feel. Please tell me our love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough.
Yeah.
You make me happy.
What's up, Robert Mills? Shane McNaughton. Hey, I sent you your code, buddy. Gilbert. What's happening, man? Man, we got a great crew. Jeremy Macbeth, how are you doing, buddy? Joe Hepp. Man, it is great to see everybody tonight. Thank you for joining another edition of Tackle Shop Live. We come at you every Thursday night at 7 o'clock or thereabouts. And, man, we love to talk tackle. We like to talk technique. And we're a tackle shop, so it's all fun in here. Let me tell you, we talk fishing and everything in here every single day. It's just great. So thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in and checking us out. Yeah, so, man, I got some announcements for you guys tonight. Some great announcements. Of course, the holidays are coming up, and Thanksgiving is on Thursday of next week. So we are not going to have a show next week on Thursday. And I hope everybody understands that, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving with your family and celebrates with them and can be thankful for something, you know, and make sure that is in your mind and you guys have a great day. So, but starting on Tuesday next week is our online Black Friday sale. I know everybody's been waiting for it. But we're going to have our Black Friday sale starting on November the 25th, which is, I think, Tuesday, and it runs all the way through to Sunday, November 30th. And it's a great online sale. We do it every year. It's a time where you guys can, you know, start shopping for the holidays, get your stuff going, get your tackle bought for everybody on your list, and get it at great pricing. We're going to have 20% off online for that period of time from November 25th to November 30th. So you don't want to miss that. Check your email boxes, check your social media, keep that turned on to us, because we're going to be announcing it. We're going to give you links to everything on there, but it is a great big sale, and we absolutely love doing it. So I think you guys will enjoy it very much. Now, for everybody that's local and listening on here, we're going to have our in-store Black Friday sale starting on Friday, the 28th, and running into the 29th on Saturday. And for the local guys, you get some special deals. We have a bunch of door busters going on, and you're going to see savings all the way up to 50% on select tackle in the shop. We got stuff from Spro, we got stuff from Luz, we got stuff from Costa, we've got stuff from Berkeley, we've got Mega Bass stuff, we've some stuff there. We got some Strike King, BKK, Daiwa, Rapala, Buckeye, Evergreen, Bass Mafia, and the list goes on. And that is some doorbuster stuff that it's limited in stock. You're going to want to be here early to get a hold of it. We open at 9 a.m. on Friday, and we're going to have some blowout specials going on there. And then also most everything else in the store will be discounted at 10%. So you're going to get a nice little sale on some of the other stuff that's in here. Great time to come. Great time to buy that special gift to someone on your list, and to celebrate the start of the Christmas season on Friday. We are going to be we're going to be here. We're going to be with bells on our feet, man, ready to roll, and it's going to be a really good time here in the shop. So you don't want to miss out on that. And again, for you online guys, people that can't get here or whatever, that's going to start on Tuesday, the 25th, and run all the way to November 30th, with some great stuff going on. And then the whole holiday season, we've got some great stuff planned in store on Saturdays. We got things planned throughout the holiday season. So the big thing is to keep yourself informed. Make sure you getting our emails. Make sure you're checking the social media posts that we do, because there's going to be some great stuff throughout the whole holiday season. But it is kicking off coming up here on Tuesday. So you don't want to miss that. Black Friday, big time sales going on here at sfttackle.com and in the shop here at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle. You do not want to miss it. So I got a paper for it. So anyway, that's going on. And, man, what about that wind this past weekend? Jeez, oh man, I'm telling you, the wind was horrendous on Sunday here. We're talking 40-mile-an-hour plus gusts, sustained winds at 25 to 30. It was just crazy. But I did go fishing, fellas. I did go fishing. The Stallion, who works with us here at the shop, he said, "Hey man, I'm going. I don't care, whatever it is, I'm going." So he went down to the dam and our local dam here. And what was cool about that dam was it's a great big powerhouse right behind you, so it blocked a lot of that wind, and we were able to fish right off the bridge there and jig for walleyes, and which we did. And the old Stallion, man, the master, the bridge master, the dam master of as we call him around here, went to work, and man, he piled up some beautiful walleye, doing his little jigging thing. I did catch a fish. I didn't do that well. I didn't quite understand it, but I did catch some fish.
Did he share any with you then?
No.
No?
They take him home, and I wouldn't ask for him anyway, because that's like a delicacy around here, man. But they actually threw a couple back. I couldn't take them home because I was running errands, but they actually threw a couple back. They kept one or two each, but man, that was cool to do. I haven't done that for a long time. It just goes to show that no matter what the weather is, somehow, some way, you can get out and you can toss a line and get it stretched and have some fun. And it was different for me. It was fishing off a bridge is not something I do on a regular basis, but it's jigging. So, I mean, I know how to jig, and he showed me some cool stuff about the currents and how it swirls in there. And man, he's just really good at it. So those guys are pretty impressive, for what they do. So, that was pretty cool. So anyway, George, what's going on here, man? How's everything going?
Oh, I'm enjoying my fall. I got a tournament this weekend. And I'm looking forward to that, and expecting big things.
Yeah.
Big fish, big bags. It's just I'm really looking forward to that. But
Things are coming together for that tournament for you guys. I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the whole fall's been exciting so far. We've been catching a decent amount of fish, and just I get excited for the fall. It's probably my number one most favorite time to fish all year long. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
That's on the agenda. We'll see what happens.
So you guys aren't fishing that one together?
Nah, I gotta go. I'm heading in the mountains. I'm going on a trout fishing trip up in the mountains and continuing my journey with learning how to catch those trout and figuring that all out again, and kind of broaching the BFS trout fishing thing. And
You've lost him, George.
yeah, no.
Hey, some people aren't cut out for this kind of work.
Some people aren't cut out for the stuff that I'm doing. I mean, it's some pretty crazy stuff. I'm going on 60 years old. I'm hiking these mountains. It's nuts, man. Wading around in these creeks and stuff. But it's pretty cool. So that's what I'll be doing. I wish, with the conditions that George is talking about and what's happening right now, I wish I was fishing a tournament, because it is extremely awesome conditions coming up here for this weekend, and the bite is going to be in full swing, don't you think?
Not only on our local waters, but our tidal waters that we fish, perfect conditions. Just about the entire region that we live in, Potomac River, Chesapeake Bay. I mean, that whole region is perfect this weekend. This is going to be a big fall bite this weekend. So looking forward to that. Might have to do the full range from finesse to power, but you know what? Gonna be ready.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. So guys, I hope everybody can see us okay. I see a couple guys struggling on some of this stuff. I hope everybody sees us good. We are dealing with this new platform that these guys changed. The people that we've been doing this with for 2 years now just decided to change the platform. So I'm hoping everybody can see it. If you don't see it, let me know, and I can take a look at it. But I don't know. Seems like everybody's okay with it so far. Okay. So George, this is a tackle shop. We love fish and tackle. We love talking about fish and tackle, and this is our favorite segment that we call Tackle Talk. I love this time of year, man. This time of year, not only is the fishing friggin' phenomenal and exciting, so is the tackle business. Stuff comes in every single day. All the new releases are starting to really roll in here. And it's just a really fun time of the year for people in the tackle business. So what is going on, George? What's been happening? What is new? What is hot? And what is new in the world of fishing tackle?
Oh, it never ends. I mean, we've been busy.
Yeah.
Me and my team have been processing large quantities of new product. And we're staying caught up, ahead of the curve a little bit, but it's exciting. And, every week we try to pick out a few exciting products to bring to you, and maybe even talk about how we might fish them under the given conditions. I did want to say,
go ahead. Sorry.
I did want to say though, in this time of the year, you can be from finesse to just all out power all in one day. So this tackle talk is going to reflect that. And we're going to come right in hot and heavy, kicking the doors down, women and children screaming, safeties off the nines, straps off the pistols. I mean, we're coming in big with 5 new Chad Shad colors. Now, this is your standard Chad Shad, your 18 or 180 centimeter version. the 180, the big boy, 2 3/8 ounces. So they have 5 new colors that they've added to. I believe they already had 5 or 6. And this is the one that I was really glad to see added. This came out in the Chad Shad 120, and believe it or not, was supposed to come out in the Chad Shad 180 about 2 years ago. Never did. This is called Platinum Shad. Look at that bad boy. Platinum Shad. And then one thing they were lacking in the Chad Shad was some shine, some flash. So we have native chrome, and we have golden shiner. Oh, you Florida people, that's the color of them big shiners that you're live lining on those lakes down there. But now you have some chrome, some flash, some reflection, something that Chad Shad never really had. A lot of. But look at that. Picture that on your cloudy days. Oh. Now, you also have to have in big glide baits, you need impact colors. You need colors that they're just like, advertising colors. And I got 2 of those for you. So this first one is called Sun Chartreuse. And just think of a bone Chad Shad that had an accident with your chartreuse spigot. And then Fire Tiger. But it's a Fire Tiger with a little bit of a silver influence to it. So if you're a glide bait guy, a swim bait aficionado, check them out. The new KGB 180 Chad Shad, 5 new colors, in stock, ready to go, hanging up in the shop, on the website. Boom. And fun bait to fish, very successful bait. Probably one of the most popular, successful glide baits brought onto the market in the last 3 years. So check that out. Now, the other thing that's going on in the world, and, we talked about the All Might sinking braid. And, if you missed that show, or if you're not up on the sinking braid concept, so essentially, the core of this braid is a fiber, if you will, a strand. Let's call it a strand that has a high specific gravity. So it's heavier than water. It sinks. Okay. And then the outside, the four strands that are woven around it are your standard, PE material. So, but, and fishermen, I'm telling you, you guys keep us on our toes. When they first brought this sinking braid out, which by the way, if you're a finesse guy or a deep water guy, or you fish in a windy environment a lot, this sinking braid is game changing. Keep in mind, it's very thin.
Incredible how thin it is.
Very, very, very impressive.
Yeah.
So, all I'm saying is look at the diameters more so than the pound test, when you're shopping for it. But you guys have spoken, and the hot new color in braid is pink. That's right.
Yep.
Now you can get your All Might in pink, and you can get your All Might in the traditional olive with the orange stripe. So if you're bougie like that, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
It'll be our little secret.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things with that line. You got to kind of go up in weight on that, where, guys with the regular braided line would fish a lot of 10 and 15. This you have to go up because it's so thin. It's such a thin line. A lot of guys are going to the 18. Is it they make it an 18? That one in an 18, George?
Probably.
Yeah, like an 18 or the 22. You know, and then that's what if that's what you're used to.
Just look at the diameter.
Yeah, the diameter is the key to checking that out, and you won't have any problems with it. It is a learning curve, a little bit of a learning curve with these high-tech braided lines. I can tell you that.
Well, what you have here is you have a sinking line.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, you know, if you're let's say you're a deep water guy, your line's going to have more of a direct. It's not going to be direct to your bait, but it's going to be much more. This right here is going to be minimized because what your braid does now is it goes into the water. It's parallel to the bottom, and then it goes down. So it's like a big giant S. This minimizes that. It's more direct. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a connection, man. It's a great the sinking braid. It takes all that bow out of your line and the wind. It's just a great connection.
Well, it's a big deal because I would have never believed it years ago until I seen it on forward facing. When you throw out as far as you can, I don't care. You watch your bait go down and your bait's at the bottom. Traditionally, we always thought that our bait was coming towards us when you would jig it or pull it or whatever.
Yeah.
Your bait literally goes straight up. And then I seen the difference in the All Might. There is a difference how your bait reacts. So it is a big deal in deeper water.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. It's also a big deal in wind. You know, if you like to fish a weightless fluke in the wind, you know, this is a much more direct. It hits the water. It starts to sink right away. It keeps that fluke down. So, I mean, they took a great line. They didn't change it at all. They just added that pink in. A lot of anglers can see it well. But let's not kid ourselves. It's being bougie. It's what it is. It's bougie.
Well, it's a specialized line, you know, that it's not for everything. You know, that's the thing about these lines. You know, some of these lines are that specialized that you really got to know exactly what you're going to use it for and use it for that. You don't use it for everyday fishing, you know, in rocks and shallow water, you know, stuff like that. You don't need to use it for that. But
and I have a tip for you on these super lines. So, you know, you got the All Might. And I'm gonna struggle trying to remember all these lines. The PE8 from Yozuri, the JDM PE8.
Yep.
And there's other ones, but they're super small diameter. Well, I'm gonna give you a tip.
Yeah.
If you're tying an Alberto knot, which I encourage you to tie, by the way, I'm a big fan of the Alberto knot. Matter of fact, I call it the Crazy Alberto knot after its creator, Crazy Alberto Nye. Okay. I love to give credit where it's due.
Yep.
Normally when I tie an Alberto knot, here's what I do. If my leader is 12-pound test roughly diameter or higher, I always top off my Alberto knot with 2 half hitches on the braid before I trim my tag ends.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's game changer. On these fine diameter braids, I top off every knot with 2 half hitches.
That's a good idea.
And then I trim them tight. And also, I will increase my wraps a little bit. So I normally do 6 wraps, even on like an 8-pound braid. On these things here, I'm doing like 7-8 wraps up, 7-8 wraps back. So a couple extra wraps, but very important, the half hitch.
Mm-hmm.
And George, you're only half hitching on the braid side.
Yep. Half hitch on the braid side, 2 half hitches. If you want to do 3, you can do 3. It doesn't matter, but 2 for sure.
I like to leave a little bit of a tag too, George, on the braid side myself.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt your casting, but on the leader side, you got to trim that thing super tight. Super tight.
Get a flush.
So George, you talked about being bougie. So are you guys traditional moss, or do you guys go yellow or whatever in your braid?
Oh, I originated the bougie bandwagon on. First of all, this right here is old. Okay, let me show it to you again. This is old.
What was that one that we fished pink years and years and years ago?
One of the first thin braids came out, and they made it in 40-pound test, and it had this crazy thin diameter, and it was pink. And I told my rep, I'm like, I need that. You know, not to fish with, but to put on the front deck of my boat and have everybody looking at it like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
What's he got on the front deck with? But
Yeah.
I love watching the elites and the Bass Pro Tour guys when they're strapped up in the morning getting ready to idle out. You know, some of these guys like Brian Thrift is OCD. I mean, his every handle is at the same clock position on every spinning reel, and all the lines are the same color. And a lot of these guys are doing this pink thing right now. Okay.
Yeah.
The other bougie color that came out of the saltwater market that you'll see guys doing is blue.
Yeah.
But me,
I like to alternate.
I was one of the originators of. Now I used 40-pound. Right?
Yeah.
And the brand I had was like this off brand, and it sucked.
It was.
So it only lasted for a little bit.
It was terrible.
Um,
It was cool looking, but it was
well,
terrible.
it wasn't braid. It was fused. Yeah. I mean, it didn't suck. That's an unfair. But as far as being bougie, I was pretty much plowing the field and paving the road for you guys on the chartreuse braid. Okay. I just want to let that known. A lot of people were fishing yellow. I was on chartreuse. And now look what happened. Everybody's fishing chartreuse.
But to answer your question, Nick, we fished the chartreuse. George and I fished the bright chartreuse, and we even have some old school 4-strand yellow. Little bit of that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't found too many braids that I don't care for. But you know, as someone who once had the keen eyesight of an osprey, the ability to spot a young of the year gizzard shad from over a mile away, glistening, catching some sunlight, and like just flooring it and getting over there for the feed. I ain't like that anymore. So everything has to be pink, chartreuse, yellow, or blue. And blue's not that easy to see.
Yeah.
The chartreuse for me,
Very easy.
yellow, the yellow Power Pro.
Very good.
This pink right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm laying out my spring tournament season right now, and I just got my schedule for the Chester County Bassmasters on the Chesapeake, which I plan on attending all 5 of them. Because I know you ditched me for Nick as your partner, so I held a draft process, rented out a hotel room, and had some announcers, filmed the whole thing. It'll be coming out on a short video series where I drafted my players for next year. But I think I'm going to have all my reels laying on the front deck with the pink braid.
Nick and I are going to go pink, chartreuse, blue. Pink, chartreuse, blue. Laid out in that fashion. Handles perfectly aligned. We're going to roll it in there.
So our Sunline rep is an extremely good fisherman and a good friend of the show, a good friend of the shop. Good guy. When he speaks, we listen. And he called me up and he said, look, how's the All-Mite working? I'm like, well, everybody that fishes it loves it. We have a guy on staff here, Skeeter Steve. I mean, you guys know him. He's an All-Mite pioneer. And he's like, well, you got to get the pink. Pink's out now, and it is insane how popular the pink is. So
yeah,
I'm just going to say this. Look for more pink braids.
Yeah.
I'm currently working with Power Pro on a new color because I like some of my Super Slick products. And this is going to be a signature color. We're probably going to launch it at ICAST. So we'll bring that to you then. It's going to break the internet, but keep that keep that in mind for then. It probably won't be available till November of next year.
Right.
Bulk spools only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. And that's your new All Might in pink. And by the way, the All Might is 165 yards and it's $22.99 a spool. And I'd like to point out to you,
That's
well,
very
actually,
affordable.
actually, it's not. It's a spread. It's like, I think it's like 20 to 25, something. Let's just round it off.
Still very affordable.
Let's just say $22.99's in that range. But I would like to tell you, because $22 is $22.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we joke about the prices of things today, and you stop for your coffee in the morning, and you might pick up a couple little knickknacks to get you through the day, and the next thing you know, your morning stop is like $12, and it used to be like $5. So things are more expensive. Well, this braid is expensive, and the loading it onto your reel, because it's so thin. So what I'm asking you to do is look at your diameter of the line, okay? And then find a monofilament or a fluorocarbon that you're familiar with that diameter. And then relate that line to that size fluorocarbon. So let's say your reel holds 260 yards of 8. This is just an example. And let's say that this 22.5 pound is like the equivalent of 6. So the difference between an 8 and a 6 is about 20 yards. So if your reel holds 220 of 8, it's going to hold 240 of 6. Is everybody with me so far?
So far, George.
Okay. This is some, Neil deGrasso stuff.
Don't go too complex. You're starting to lose me.
So when you put the backing on your spools, what I'm trying to tell you is, and let's say you want to split this and hit 2 reels. So you're going to put 80 yards on each reel. When you put the backing on the reel and you do the math, like if you're going to put like 8-pound test on for backing, and you're going to put 80 yards on, and your reel's going to hold 240 minus 80 is how much backing, right? It's going to look like your reel's almost full.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to say, that guy at Susquehanna is crazy. And, that's probably true, but not about that.
Yeah.
So put plenty of backing on.
You should have seen me trying to wind
3/4 of a spool.
You should have seen me
if not higher.
You should have seen me trying winding 6 today. 6-pound braid. It looked like the spool was full.
Well, and the reason I say that is,
It's really thin.
you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to have to undo it.
Yeah.
Essentially your spinning reel, your backing is going to look like you're spinning. If you're splitting that, your spinning reel is like 80% full. Okay, so trust the numbers. Do the math in your head. Trust the numbers. And you're going to say, well, I can't measure the yardage on my spool. Yeah, you can. Let's say your spool holds 240 of 8. Well, half of it, that's 120, right? 3/4, 180. So just kind of eyeball it. Okay, 3/4. Well, I need 200. Okay, a little more than 3/4. And trust that. And guess what? Here's the other good thing about braid. Your spool can be a little low.
Yeah.
And it still performs flawlessly. Same thing with fluorocarbon. Your spool can end up a little low, and it still performs flawlessly. So that's just a public service announcement for you guys. If you have any questions on it, if you put, come in and buy some, bring your reels, we'll wind it for you. If you order it, give us a call. We'll walk you through the process. But yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, we talked about these big baits, right? Okay, so this is your Chad Shad. This holds a number 1 hook.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes with Gamakatsus, right? Okay, so it's got a number 1 Gamakatsu on there. Now you can buy, we did a big hook show last week. Well, not a hook show, but it was our rig of the week. You can buy a 1X or a 2X number 1 Gamakatsu treble. This is actually like a 1X.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a 2X on there. Okay. It's not going to affect anything. But if you're around big fish, well, now Gamakatsu has come out with the big bait special, the round bend big bait special. You know, we talked about the different bends last week. We talked about the EWGs. We talked about the round bends. Let me show you one of these things up close and personal. So the round bend, which I'm going to just tell you is my personal favorite. Not that that should matter to you, but I feel as though the holding power and the ratio of bites to landed fish are in my favor. Now, the round bend means, and you know it's a round bend when the bend looks like a U. Not a slanted U. That's a sprout bend. But the point is parallel to the shaft. So here we have a 2-0. Ow. Sharp son of a bitch. Here we have a 2-0 big bait special. Now, I want to point something out to you on this hook that they do on some other hooks. Look at the eye. If Nick can do this, he's pretty good. There's a bevel on that eye where the actual material has been stamped into a wedge. Terrible lighting. So what that does is, that's called the magic eye. And what that lets you do is that lets you take this hook like this and use that eye to open up the split ring. Because it's wedged, it will open up the split ring. So you don't really even need to use a pair of split ring pliers with the magic eyes. So your big bait trebles are magic eye. They come in a 1-0, 2-0,
4050.
4050. So if you're fishing, some of the bigger glide baits and, you need like a big hook, check them out. They're a new hook line from Gamakatsu. And I'll tell you, I've stuck this thing in my hand so many times I can't even count. They're sharp. There's the 4-0
Big gun.
in the pack. That would be going on a really big bait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, that's good though, because we struggled with replacement hooks for the big glide baits, and it was hard to get the right selection and the right type of hook, and this is nice to have this now that you can just go right back and grab it and say, this is the hook you guys need.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to buy a lot of these.
Muskie guys are going to buy.
Muskie guys, big game guys.
Yeah.
And big bass hunters.
Yeah.
Big bass hunters who are putting that time and effort in. You're when you're fishing for big fish with a glide bait, your opportunities are somewhat limited.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared with a good hook. Sometimes you can touch a hook up with a file, but sometimes you can't. You just have to change them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just the act of reeling these baits in all day long, two of those points are rubbing on your baits. You got to check them. If you're banging rock, you got to check them. So check your hooks. When you get that bite from that fish that you're spending a lot of time targeting, this time of the year, we're doing a lot of glide bait fishing and we're targeting grandes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's more efficient and it's easier to change the hook out than it is to try to sharpen it. Always try to sharpen it, touch it up. But, these high carbon steel hooks can be a little touchy, especially the black nickel coated ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Yeah, so that is your big bait hook. Now we're going to talk about some dice baits. Okay. So, these are the Koikis. This is the new 13 millimeter. Now it comes in essentially like I could put like 300 of these in this box here, but this is a display unit that also keeps every tentacle perfect. Okay. So the Koiki has been around, but it was always the full cast, which is a big time bait. Like one of them, that box, you need that box to fit one of them.
Yeah.
And the 17 millimeter, this 13 millimeter has been sought after, waiting. We've been waiting. Hide Up showed this to us at ICAST. And here we are. So, these baits, we need to have a discussion on these baits, guys. So we've been doing this whole dice thing this year.
I
Right?
think we should have a whole dice show because that's
Well, we're definitely going to have a dice show,
Yeah.
but we need to have a little discussion on these baits right now. So the Koiki, they're TPE, indestructible. The Yamamoto Uni, which is a little bit bigger and has a few more tentacles on it. And it's got like little balls on the end of the tentacles, so they're a little hyperactive. The Uni, the 13 millimeter Koiki, the fuzzy nuggets. So the point I'm trying to make is these are very buoyant baits. If you've done any fishing with the TPE style bait, they're very buoyant, which is a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a good thing. Like if you buy a pack of tumbleweeds, they're gonna sink a little easier for you. They're gonna be easier to weight with a nail weight because they're not TPE. So these unis and these Koikis with the shaft going through them, that's not just for display. I mean, it does a great job for that, but that is also to help in rigging. If you want to put a tungsten nail weight in those, that
pre-drilled hole.
that molded hole,
Yeah. Helps out a lot.
it's critical.
Yeah, you got to have it.
Because a lot of what we're doing with these is the simplest, most effective, probably most popular rigging method. Arguably, the two most popular rigging methods would be a drop shot,
Mhm.
where you're not adding weight, and I don't know if you call it a Nico rig, I guess, because you're putting a nail weight in there where you are adding weight. And I had my best success this year with the Nico. I put a nail weight crossways in. I was fishing the G Crack. I liked it a little bit bigger, and hooked it through the corner. And they're very, very durable. I mean, very durable. And I would get my sink rate depending on the conditions I was in. I could change my weights. I actually found like a 16th was my best weight for shallow water. And I found it really interesting, guys. I don't know if you guys were paying laser focused attention to the Toyota Series Championship. You may or you may not have been. If you weren't, you missed a key piece of information on the dice baits by Mr. Drew Gill.
Yeah.
And he said that the fish that were up off the bottom a little bit, he would take his Nico rigged worm and pull them to the bottom where they would bite the worm. The fish that were on the bottom, he would throw his Nico rigged worm. Now he was scoping and catch them on the bottom. But the fish that were higher up in the water column wanted absolutely nothing to do with that worm. And he was not alone. He was fishing the Koike. And everybody was using whatever, but they were a lot of dice baits in play for those higher suspended fish.
Mhm.
I did most of my fishing with them on the Susquehanna River for smallmouth.
Yeah.
And I was in shallow water. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll rig differently in, a situation like that, but I don't think so. If you're in 15 or 20 foot of water and those fish are 5 or 6 feet deep, a 1/16 of an ounce is adequate. But another couple of rigging methods have come to light on these buoyant Koikes and unis. I think it's uni. Is it uni or uni?
Oh, it's with a U, so uni.
I'm going to call it uni.
Yeah, whatever.
I was just going to go the opposite of whichever way you went.
Of course, I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
That's like if you ever weighed into a tournament back in the day that Ray Scott was emceeing, it could be a invitational or whatever, and you had a decent fish, he'd say, "I'll bet you $1 on the weight of that fish," and you would say, "Okay, great, you're on," and you'd say, "Well, it's 2 pounds 8 ounces," and he'd go, "All right, I'll go 2 pounds 9 ounces," and if it was over 2 pound 8 ounces, he got you every time. So that's why I knew he was going to say uni. I think it's uni, but anyways, they're buoyant. So free rigging has become a deal.
No, you said uni. I said uni.
Ah, now you're turning it around
No,
because uni sounds better.
I got it recorded, bro. I can
No.
bring that right back up for you.
I don't know. Play it back.
Yeah.
Uni. But free rigging has become a deal
Yeah.
on these more buoyant ones.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Yeah. I mean, that. Why not? I mean, that makes complete sense.
You know what else is popping on these things? These geekas and the unis, the koikes, and the unis is the Geico rig. Remember we just talked about the Geico rig a couple weeks ago on Rig of the Week?
Yeah.
That's becoming a deal. And then the last one that I'm really interested in learning, and I don't know why this didn't come to me earlier. I saw somebody demonstrating this on social media,
Uno.
and it was a wacky jig head. And I thought, well, that's great because now I have the weight at the bottom. I'm much easier and quicker to rig. I don't have to mess with a nail weight. So I like a wacky jig head anyways, especially with a little wind and current. So let's keep this whole conversation going in the future. But the unis are in stock, 5 or 6 colors. They're $14.99. The Koikes are in stock, 5 or 6 colors. They're $19.99, and that is for one, people.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there's one of those in there. That's $19.99 for one.
Well, that's TPE. So I mean that's going to hold up.
Well, I'm just letting them know.
Yeah, that's going to hold up. Plus, even George, like even the ones that you fished that one for like
All a long time.
I mean, like
I
five different. I don't think he ever lost it.
I didn't lose it, and the good thing is, if you catch some fish on it and it tears up, you just spin it around and put the hook in another spot because they're not TPE, but they're very dense.
Yeah, there's a dense.
The G Crack is very
yeah.
dense. I mean, I'm still voting for G Crack as well.
Well, if you read about the uni, it also is a denser, hard, stronger plastic in the body. So
I think it's TPE.
It didn't say.
It doesn't. But
it
I
doesn't
think it
say.
is.
Yeah, it's a lot stronger plastic in there. And what's really cool is with that one, it has these little balls on the end, so it's like a lot more alive in the water. So,
well, we're gonna
cool
find
stuff.
out.
Yeah, it's something.
I can't wait to find out. And you know what we're gonna start with?
Yeah,
wintertime fishing.
Yeah, the fuzzy stuff's legit. I mean, it really is legit. I know it's goofy looking, it's really weird, and Northeast is always like stubborn. We're the most stubborn fishermen ever. This stuff, we're going to be on this for this next several years, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because guys, they're like, I ain't buying that stuff, and then then he goes out with somebody, gets his butt kicked, and then, oh, okay, maybe I'll buy one.
Well, the fish are getting more pressured than ever.
Yeah.
And
Everywhere.
everybody knows all you got to do is watch these pros fish.
Yeah.
That they're trying to figure out all these tactics coming from Japan and all these different areas. This stuff here is here to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only going to get more and more.
Yeah.
Because the fish are so used to a lot of the things we're throwing. Guess what? They're catching more fish with these.
You're absolutely
baits.
right, Nick. That's exactly right. So this is cool stuff. And
It really is.
And what else you got, George? We got to keep moving here.
Why?
Because we didn't get to fall fishing last week. We need to get to fall cold fronts this week, and we want to spend some time on that.
What's rule number 1?
Well, it's already 8 o'clock.
What's
so
rule number 1?
I know what rule number 1 is. Just
I don't think all the people know.
well, you tell them because
Never be in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
What's rule number 2?
I think I know what rule number 2
What's
is.
rule number 2?
I think it's you can never have enough Old Bay.
There's no such thing as too
There you
much
go.
Old Bay. That's rule number 2. There's 10 of them if you want to know. Jump on over to our other podcast, The Cigar Guys. Not The Cigar Guys, Cigar Guys. Go back to the early archives and you'll see all 10 rules as voted on by our listeners. All right. So it's getting cold. It is cold. The mornings are cold. And if you're a winter fisherman, cold sucks. And the cool thing is that we have just been inundated with awesome products to keep us warm. Our all-time list of great warm products are the insulated Challenger suit, the AFCO helm gloves, the AFCO waterproof gloves, and the Reaper hoodie line. And I'm going to show you a couple Reaper hoodies here. Explain some differences. They're not per se new, but they're fashionable. Got some new colors in the Reaper, which I think are, I think these things are badass. This one here is called Silver Pine Heather. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Reaper, I don't know where
one of the
been.
greatest inventions ever for cold weather fishing.
Built-in
Fleece lined hoodie or
built-in collar
Yeah.
or face guard.
beautiful.
So none of that wind is getting down. You're in here.
It's not going through.
This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It will shed light rain for a little while, and it's just super windy. Super warm. So a couple new colors, the Silver Pine Heather, and this one here, which is selling out like hotcakes, is called Harbor Gray Heather.
Great Christmas gifts, by the way. Phenomenal Christmas gifts.
Yeah, check those 2 new colors out on your AFCO Reaper shopping.
Well, and I want to talk a little bit because, obviously we're a fishing show. We talk fishing. But those Reapers are not only just good for fishing. Like for me, this weekend, I got to go to a soccer tournament.
Absolutely.
Guess what I'm going to be wearing outside also.
You know how many of those I sold at soccer tournaments?
Absolutely.
It was incredible how many people asked me where I got mine.
Yeah, that's the deal
Yeah.
right there.
I got to tell you,
They're phenomenal. They really are.
I got to tell you, late fall and winter fishing is some of the best fishing of the year. But it sucks if you're cold. Now, when you're young, you don't feel the cold. You save your money, young guys. You don't need a Reaper. But the rest of us,
Come on, in your t-shirts.
we need Reapers. We need insulated Challenger suits. We need layers. And this next Reaper that we're going to show you is actually a zip up. And it's not new. It's been around. Comes in a couple different colors. We stock it in the gray, which is called charcoal. And then we stock it in black. But it's got the neck liner. Now, it's not sewn in the front, obviously. It's kind of hard to unzip a jacket when it's sewed shut in the front,
You could tuck it down in though.
but you can pull it down over and
Yeah.
it fits you very good.
Yeah.
But here's the deal with this. This is Windstopper. So you go out in a fleece, you know, your average fleece, you can feel the wind on a cold day coming through that fleece. You cannot feel that on here. So, I mean, if it's like if you had a Reaper and this, you can't wear them both. You got to be like on base camp 4 about to summit Everest to wear them both. You can't, it's got to be, if you're fishing on the day when you're wearing both of those,
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Now, if you might be ice fishing or if you might be susceptible to the cold, it's just, it blocks that wind. It just does a great job with that. So that's the windproof jacket. And the liner in that, oh man, it's so comfortable and so warm. So check those out. The jackets are $119
This is the Reaper soft shell.
jacket.
And then this one,
That's the same thing in black. And then the Reapers, I want to say, are coming in at like 70-ish range. Unless it's camo, I think they're a little bit more. I didn't get the price on those. But important to point out, new colors, you know, so if you have pink All Might and a Harbor Gray Reaper hoodie, you're styling. Very, very much. All right, last thing I want to talk to you guys about is a reel. Just got these in. We've been waiting on these forever and ever and ever. And this is an interesting reel. So this is the KVD Elite, the new KVD spinning reel, which we talked to you about before, but we didn't talk about this model. This model's kind of unique. So it's a 300 size.
Yeah.
And for some reason up here in the Northeast, the 200 size is the most popular, but I'm going to try to make this your most popular size because you have a carbon body, carbon side plate, tubular bail wire, super strong handle, carbon drag, yada, yada, yada. But look at the spool depth. So, and I'm going to run some numbers past you here once we get you focused on that spool depth. And again, it's very hard to say. A lot of this stuff is very hard to say. So a standard 300 KVD is, I'm looking at my notes, 260 yards of 8. The SS version, the super shallow, is 100 less. Why is that important, do you ask? I'm glad you did ask. You don't need a ton of backing if you're fishing braid, right? If you're going to put that 22.5 All Might on there, 80 yards, it's not going to take a lot of backing to get there. And this reel's got it all. It's 6.2 to 1, 32 inches of line per crank, 7.7 ounces, $149.99. I mean,
that's a great price for that reel. Carbon fiber body,
good stuff.
carbon drag.
But that shallow spool version, and that's, you're going to see that as an SS.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on there, if you're shopping online and you're on there clicking around, you know, you make sure you get the SS. Okay. Come in the shop here. We'll make sure you get the SS. So there you go, guys. That is your tackle talk
Yeah. Beautiful.
for tonight.
Beautiful.
You know, with a little bit of technique mixed in there. I think, you know, we got some nice questions in, and yeah, I think we need to, everybody needs to like give yourself a hand because everybody did a great job on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Right on.
Right on.
Great stuff going on there.
Very, very well done.
Well, George, we've been having a great time with the rig of the week, and
We have.
yeah, and you know, we're kind of bouncing around. We're working for some different types of rigs, and we're going to have another great one tonight. And but the rig of the week is sponsored by Nomad Designs, and Nomad Designs is the makers of the the great live ops products, and as well as the Greg DePalma finesse jig and the Machete swim jig. So and they make a great line of hard baits too.
Is it machete or machete?
It depends on where you're from. I like to call it machete because it machetes right through the grass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my deal. And but they make a great line of hard baits also. And they are the sponsor of the Rig of the Week. And,
They are.
And what they do is they're giving away a $25 gift card to somebody every week
From here.
from here. For the $25 gift card goes to sfttackle.com, or you can use it right in the shop here. Depending on where you live, you can use it online or in the shop. And it's a great deal. I mean, it's a great deal. All you have to do is, Nick.
All you got to do is like and share the post
Yep.
and comment by tagging Nomad. And how you do that is the @, and then it's going to say, so you're going to do @NOM. You should see it pop up that you can click on Nomad Design. You just click on Nomad Design. That tags them into the comment.
Yeah.
And then those three things. So like the post, share the post, in the comments, tag Nomad, and you're good to go.
At Nomad Designs. And when you hit the @ it should bring up the Nomad people. What we're trying to do is to let them know that you guys are out here pumping the, listening, hearing their name, knowing who they are, so that they continue to do this. This is why we're doing it. But they got to know. And the way they know is you got to do it right. You got to hit the @ and then Nomad Designs, and make sure that highlight it comes up and you highlight that. That's important. So anyway, last week's winner of the Nomad Designs Rig of the Week SFT tackle gift card is off of YouTube, Nick, is at Patrick Kingery.
Oh,
Patrick Kingery, Nomad Designs, Rig of the Week, $25 gift card. Congratulations, buddy. We will get a hold of you somehow, and we will straighten this all out and get you that gift card. And
outstanding.
How cool is that?
Hey, very cool. That's our first YouTube winner.
Yeah.
So you can win on YouTube, and you can also win on Facebook.
Yep.
So there you go.
Can you win on TikTok?
No.
No, we're not there yet.
Now, which one's the X?
X.
Can you win on the X?
No.
No,
Because that's like Twitter.
X is the old Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just a big Elon fan, so I was hoping we could win on X.
Hey, maybe he'll win one.
They don't
day.
do
He'll be
live.
on.
They don't do live broadcasting on there.
Really?
No.
Huh.
No. And you can do live broadcasting on TikTok, but it's a whole different thing. And trying to bring that in, it's just a nightmare. So, but anyway, congratulations to Patrick Kingery,
Yes.
and it's on a $25 gift card. George, what is the Rig of the Week this week?
Well, we're going back in the Wayback Machine. We're going back. We're going to time it back. We're going back to the day that I got introduced to the craze that became the boot foot swim bait.
Mm.
I'm not talking sassy shads now.
Mm.
I used to fish those back in the old days on a ball head.
That's original boot.
Sassy shads and twister tails. I'm talking about, paddle tails. Like that. And the one that got me like seeing potential was the Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper.
Skinny Dipper.
And I don't even have a pack up here to show you. Mike's going to go grab me a pack quick. I thought I had a pack laying up here. I might have knocked it down on the ground. Whatever. Problem's going to be solved here in a second. But what happened was, and how this became the Rig of the Week, was my good friends at Reaction Innovation sent me like a big ass Ziploc bag, just handfuls of everything mixed together. I mean, it just looked like you were going to take it out to the curb. And they said, look, this thing is tearing up Florida. Tearing it up. There it is. Right? So it's a boot foot. This is how we kind of came up with calling everything a boot foot. Is off of this bait right here. And he's like, look, I'm sending you these. You need to get on this ship because, we go way back with those guys. We sold their products back when nobody would buy them. And so, okay. So I got my big Ziploc bag full of skinny dippers. And in my mind, I was more than likely going to run the table and dominate the entire Mid-Atlantic region tournament scene. I'm talking every tournament I entered, I was going to win because he had me ready to run through a brick wall when he told me how they were just crushing fish on these things in Florida. And they weren't even available. They were just getting these things up and running. So, I had the secret weapon, unstoppable. So I go out, man, and I just absolutely just froth the upper Chesapeake Bay. I'm in the Sassafras. I'm all over the place, man. I'm in Still Pond. I'm everywhere. I ain't catching shit. And I'm like, wow. So like a week goes by and my guy at Reaction calls and he goes, hey, how'd you do? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I can't get bit. He goes, really? Man, you should be killing fish up there. You're fishing the Potomac and the Chesapeake? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, how are you fishing? I'm like, well, I've been flipping boat docks with it, and I've been flipping trees with it. He goes, you don't flip with this bait. It's a swim bait. You swim it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. So, I'm rejuvenated now. I'm back on track to total domination. I run down. I got a tournament coming up this coming weekend. I run down midweek, get a little pre-fish in, and I'm in this big bay, and I'm on a grass line, and I'm casting this thing out and reeling it in, and it's not working worth a damn. So I'm like, I got to figure something out. So this is the rig of the week. And what I came up with was, now I was fishing it on 15-pound line on a bigger rod, so I used a super line hook. Just a extra wide gap, super line. Super line meaning, just to touch it up, just a little heavier wire. EWG super line. This hook's important for this rig also. If you're fishing lighter tackle, this hook. And then I was like, I'm going to put some weight on this thing. And I put some weight on it, and it just didn't work that well. So I busted out. At the time, I was really big into screw-in bullet weights.
Yeah, that was kind of like the hot thing just came out, just kind of happening thing.
Well, when you fixed the bullet weight so you Texas rig. Now, the thing you got to remember is when you Texas rig, you got to go in a little deeper because you need space for the screw-in bullet weight. Okay? 1/4 ounce, 4/0. And I hope to tell you, if you're fishing shallow grass, now today, most people are going to use a belly-weighted hook. And I'm not casting shade upon that choice.
No.
There's nothing wrong with a belly-weighted hook.
No.
I am going to make an argument, though.
I am too.
That this is better.
I am too. I think you get a lot more body roll with this rig than you do with a keel weight that holds the bait from wobbling so much.
Tremendous. Well, you get good body roll out of that too, but nothing
like this.
Nothing.
You get the full.
You're getting this thing almost wants to spin over.
It'll thump your rod tip.
You feel it.
That's the beauty of that bait.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
And I like a 1/4 ounce. Mike and I. We like a 1/4 ounce. Okay. Lead. Old school lead.
Yeah.
1/4 ounce.
Rig one up there, George.
You
don't need the line. You can just rig it up.
Yeah. So, let's say we were fishing some heavier tackle. Like I like to fish when I'm fishing grass, tidal water, largemouth in reservoirs, what have you, bigger fish on heavier tackle, smallmouth, bigger fish on heavier tackle. I always use a super line hook because I'm using a heavier rod. I'm using a medium heavy, almost like a jig rod,
Yeah.
Today I use that rod for so many different things. It's just a Swiss Army knife. 7.2, medium heavy,
Does it all.
just does it all. Fast tape or extra fast, I don't care. I prefer a fast. But what I mean is, like, you got to go in a little deeper. So you're going to come in with your hook. Okay, and that would normally be where you'd be, right at the bend. But now you have to kind of imagine how much space you need for this. You want the eye of the hook down here because you need to be able to screw this in, right? So I'm going to go a little deeper, which is going to bring me out like that. And of course, I'm already tied on. And I'm going to kind of work that up on there. Now, look what's going to happen. The eye of the hook's down here. Okay. And then my bullet weight's going to slide down my line. And I'm going to thread that in. I can just about, if that knot was on there, I would just about feel that knot. And then I'm going to text pose this. Now, again, if I'm fishing, like standard, like smaller fish or open water, I might just do a regular EWG. But what happens is this thing gets incredible body roll with that weight fastened to that head like that. And we've been asked so many questions about this over the years.
Yeah.
Like, what if I pegged my bullet weight? It'd probably work. But this works really good.
Yeah.
What if I do? Well, try it. Try it. Maybe your system's going to be different. I'm just telling you, the rig of the week, we're going back to the day when we
Old school.
started to learn this bait. This bait right here, the Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper, and then later the Little Dipper.
Do it to this day.
Now, guys,
It's been a while.
let's talk about the pros and the cons. The pros to putting this on a jig head, you get more fish per bait. The pros, being able to crawl through grass, wood, snags, being able to change hooks for the situation, regular EWG, super line, drop down to a smaller bait, a smaller hook, a lighter weight. The cons. Don't have any.
Yeah.
Are we saying that this is the best and only way to fish this? Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll put the smaller one or this one on a jig head. But this is our preferred method if there's any cover involved.
Yeah.
And let me tell you,
Timber, really good going through timber.
awesome in grass.
And just a great grass bait, man. What a great grass bait.
Guys, question for you with this rig. Somebody wants to use this rig. What time of year and what are you looking for to say this is the rig to throw?
Well, I mean, for me, if you're fishing on a swimming retrieve, I mean, this baby activates in like midway through the spawn, depending on where you live. It could be an early spawn bait. Like if you live in Florida, I mean, this is
Year round.
This is Florida. This is what they do in Florida,
Yeah.
right here. So how they do it in Florida, right here. And they're doing it right now.
Yep.
If you live in a northern climate or like where we live, the early spawn on the right day, it can be deadly. But as that grass and you get into the real heavy part of the spawn, this is insanely wicked to swim through the grass. And we caught so many fish doing this. I'm not kidding you. When this first happened, I literally I'd be waiting to blast off in the morning. I'd be tied up at the dock, and I would literally have somebody come up and say, "Hey, can I get a couple of them swim baits?" And I would give them like 2 because I only had like 8 or whatever it was, till they got really, really rolling with this thing. But
Cool.
I
Well-
was thinking, rig of the week. And it doesn't have to be like the most earth-shattering, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge, brand new, unheard of rig of the week. Here we are with an old school rig. And I'm gonna go back here, flip the page back here. Here's some of the rig of the weeks that we've talked about. And I really think it's important for some of the older rigs. Like we talked about the stupid tube.
Mhm.
And that's old, but it's not that old. The split shot rig.
Mhm.
The godfather of finesse pioneered that in the 80s.
Yep.
Still relevant. The Carolina rig.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there. And now we don't have a name for this, so we're going to have to name this. So this is going to be named the Skinny Dipper rig. Right?
I guess.
I
Might as
mean,
well.
I like it.
we could
George.
put it out for naming rights, if Gamagatsu.
SKD rig.
Here's
SKD
a
rig.
good question for you. With your story that you told, do you remember what color you had at the time?
White trash.
White trash.
Yep.
Nice.
White trash was money. And I remember that very first day that I got this thing working. It was a weekday. And I was in this bay. And I'm working down this grass line. And I mean, they are absolutely pulverizing this bait.
Screw 'em Louie. That's a good name.
And, I really didn't want to stick them. But it was just having such a good time. And I finally figured this out and conquered this puzzle. But the problem was way back in the back of this bay was another boat. And it turned out I knew who these guys were, and they were pre-fishing for the tournament. So, I kind of played it cool, I mean, I went throwing something else, get back to them. This is how we used to do it in the day, and I loved it. And these guys, by the way, all these years later, still shopping with us. And we bring this story up yearly, like almost like an anniversary. And they're like, doing any good? I'm like, I got a couple. He goes, bullshit. What are you doing? You whacked them fish, man. And I'm like, I'm just throwing a swim bait. So the point of the story is it's humorous, it's fun, takes you back. It's an old school rig of the week. It's certainly not anything we invented at all. People have been doing this forever, but we did adopt it.
Yeah, we did. We kind of brought to life in our area, and Mike Reinhold's chiming in here. I remember talking with Mike about it years ago, and he embraced it big time. And it's something he constantly throws, and he constantly is catching fish on it. It's amazing how this thing just works and works and works and works year after year after year. So it's a legit rig.
I like it.
Absolutely a legit rig.
I like it. I know you and I throw it
I throw it.
quite often.
I had a really good day in tidal water on Black and Blue one year.
I know.
So it's all over the place.
I know a couple of years ago, during the peak of the smallmouth spawn on the Susquehanna, you and I were up at a northern location on the main river. That rhymes with Montgomery's Ferry. And we smoked them that day,
Yeah.
if you recall. I mean, we absolutely just smoked them. And a baby, the Little Dipper,
Little Dipper
Black and Blue,
rigged that way.
rigged with a 2.0
Mhm.
and an 1/8 ounce screw in. And you had to drag it across the current through the emerging
Grass beds.
water willow. Now, water willow is all over the country. And if you've ever fished water willow,
It's horrible.
like if you can have the greatest steel or Husqvarna weed whacker ever made, I mean, it could be, poured it out, supercharged. I mean, it can be running on alcohol,
Yeah.
and it will stall out and break if you try to mow water willow with it. So
Yeah.
water willow is a wicked weed.
It's terrible.
And when it's starting to sprout,
It has hands on it.
You
grabs a
know,
hold of your stuff.
you got to kind of go through the water willow, and then right behind it, there's a drop, or it's a cut bank.
Mhm.
And this technique for going through water willow is straight cash. So
Yeah.
check it out. Rig of the week, the screw lock, skinny dipper, little dipper. Insert your favorite swim bait.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a Kitech guy.
Yeah. This could be
Whatever. Maybe you're a mare guy. Huh?
this could be also a rig, George, that kind of rolls right into our topic for tonight. And it's a great bait that you can really slow roll, slow it way down, drag it.
Especially if you're in the wood.
Yeah, you can drag it through stuff and slow it way down for those days, which is really super tough. A big giant cold front rolls in.
We always we like to fish shallow even in the cold water.
Yep.
And when you get like this time of the year in the mid-Atlantic, in the Northeast,
Yeah.
Water temperatures are, depending on where you're fishing, they're as high as maybe 50. A lot of places they're in the 40s.
Yeah.
And then you get a big old cold front in like we had.
Yeah, these last couple days.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
It becomes challenging.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I know we like to do, because
Yep.
we have to solve this puzzle. One of the things we like to do, staying relatively shallow. I mean, we're certainly keeping it above 20 feet most of the time.
Yeah.
We like to get into some wood. If we're fishing one of our favorite reservoirs, we're 360ing and we're scoping, but the 360 is what we're really focused on, because a lot of our fish in the cold front conditions in reservoirs, especially river run reservoirs, they're hugging bottom.
Yeah, and they're burying in that cover, and they're like, if there's a lot of these
They
reservoirs,
like that wood.
they have there's a lot of stumps in reservoirs. They go in there and they cut all these trees off. They leave the stumps there. There's lots of stumps, and
One of the things we like to do
those fish will just butt right up against a stump in the cold front and get tight to the cover.
yeah, they like that.
And underneath the wood, they'll get underneath the wood and get tight to that cover. That doesn't mean they're not going to eat. That just means that the strike zone becomes from this all the way down to this, and
you got to get in that wood.
You got to get in that stuff.
And a lot of times, in the earlier part of the fall, mid-fall or no cold front, we might be fishing like a 4.8 on a jig head, which is, that's one of our money presentations. But you get to where you're marking that wood and you got to drag that sucker on the bottom through that wood. That jig head's not going to work. It's going to frustrate you. It'll work, but you're going to go through jig heads. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to mess up opportunities. This is a primo opportunity for that.
Yeah.
Rig. And if you were jig heading the week before and this big cold front comes through and these fish are buried and you got to get in that cover, sit down, cut your jig head off, and rig this up.
Yeah.
Take that same bait and get to dragging it. You will be amazed, because you're going to get that belly roll. You're going to feel that tail. It's awesome.
So, Nick, we deal with this all the time in the fall. The fronts start coming through. All this stuff starts to happen. You're whacking fish, and sure enough, the day you want to go out and really have to catch them, a cold front moves in, and just screws everything all up. Is it something that you get like super ultimate depressed on and just like
Depressed?
Yeah.
Not me. I'll tell you why.
A lot of people do.
So
when a cold front comes in.
So it always happens on tournament day. But see, I like that, because for me, it takes out half the group.
Yeah.
They're mentally done. They're whatever has been working all week while they're pre-fishing and I got to work is not working. So I'm like, okay, they're done. I'm going to keep grinding. And all you got to do, you go through your different baits and techniques that you guys are going to show in a little bit, but you just got to grind a little bit harder and stick with it and keep going through your different bait selections till you find out what's going to work. Most people, they're just going to go with what has worked. And as soon as that stops, they're done.
Mhm.
Just keep grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it
Yeah. That's a big
from a mental standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. The mental part of that of cold front fishing is, being able to slow down and slow your roll. And there's and I think George's going to go through a lot of this stuff, but there's different aspects of cold fronts, different time frames of a cold front. So first part of the cold front, the middle part of the cold front, and the end of the cold front, when they start coming out of that funk, and getting used to that situation. But yeah, it's a lot of cold front fishing that you're going to run into is mental.
And George, you brought up a great point. How tight these fish like to get to the bottom sometimes.
They do.
And it's crazy how
They love
tight
wood.
they get. And it's funny because we do live in the days of technology.
Mhm.
And a lot of guys want to be, using that technology and looking around and they're not seeing anything. I smile a little bit at that too, because I'm thinking you're not seeing what you want to see, but what you need to be seeing is right in front of you.
Yeah.
Because when you guys brought up 360 and all those things, and you're seeing the cover, not structure, cover, right, George?
That's right.
Yeah.
Those fish are there. You just can't see them the way you'd like to.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. Structure is a point.
Yep.
A log on that point's the cover.
Yeah.
A log is not structure.
Well, that 360, just gives you that vision. All of a sudden the 360 is like the best friend you've ever had, which it points out the stump over there. It shows you the stump over there. It shows you a log laying along the side of that point over here. And it just that stuff just starts popping and allows you to makes those casts and at least bump into that and get close to it, and get into that stuff.
And I think you need to reduce the clutter between the ears.
Yeah.
We have the greatest armada of tackle available to us, and all techniques valid. I mean, just tonight we talked about one bait, 5 techniques: free rig, drop shot, Geica, jig head, Nico. Okay, that's on one bait. So reduce the clutter and get in now. Okay, so like picture the fact that a cold front hit and your water temperature is cold. That's a tough deal. Now, if you're fishing a river and you get a rise in dirty water, that's a tougher deal. But if you're fishing a lake, perhaps you're not dealing with the dirty water, but I'm going to look for the same things. I'm going to look for wood and rock. I'm going to look for the banks that are getting the most sunlight. Back in the day, if this show was being done back before there was social media, I don't know how we would have done that. But if we were, and you jumped in my boat on whatever this weekend is, the 23rd of November, and I had my rods laid out on my front deck, you would see and let's say I was fishing a typical reservoir, like Conowinga Pool we talk about a lot. You would see a 3/4 ounce Shorty Hopkins. You would see a 1/2 ounce Silver Buddy. You would see a slider head or a shaky head with a 4-inch worm, and some sort of a crankbait. And of course, a jig. And, I'd be out there with my 2D sonar. And as soon as I marked shad and figured out the depth they were in, I would take that boat to the shoreline and find out where the shore, the contours, and that suspended level met. Now I'm in the right zone, and I'd go to work with those baits. My point about the techniques and clearing the clutter, that'll all work well today. But now we have learned a lot because we've had a lot made available to us. So my shaky worm is now my Ned head. Okay. And I got to tell you, you're going to have to get that spinning rod out. And you're going to, at some point on that tough day, probably first thing in the morning, although sometimes first thing in the morning, there is a power bite. But if it's not, that's the funny thing about cold fronts, stupid ass fish. Sometimes first thing in the morning when it's freezing cold after a cold night, they're eating. I don't know. But if there's not an aggressive bite, I have replaced a lot of those baits to the Ned rig and that bait right there, which is a 4-inch swing impact on a jig head.
George, I got to ask you.
That's a killer right there.
What was that Ned that you had right there?
Well, I had this rigged up from earlier on my display. This is a fuzzy Ned. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying the regular Ned, the fuzzy Ned. I mean, we're all going here, right? So it's kind of hard not to. I did say reduce the clutter. I'm just calling it a Ned rig with a TRD.
There you go.
Now it might be fuzzy. I don't know. But this other bait here is a cold front buster. And these are my answers to, hey guys, I can't get bit. Hey guys, I'm fishing a Bubba Scale tournament with my buddies and we all put 100 in a hat and I'm looking at the app and they all have 9 pounds. I don't have a fish. Guess what? This power fishing, that's right. I did say power fishing, guys, because I love me to power fish on a cold front. But my 3-pronged approach of power fishing ain't working. I'm getting out the 2 equalizers, the Ned rig and the swing impact on a jig head. This thing is deadly. It's got the squid scent. You don't have to do anything. It just sits down there and it's seductive. That is a deadly weapon. And that color right there is called Top Shad. That is a freaking killer color in clear water. They only have like 40 colors, so you should be able to find one you like. But I know, Nick, you are a cranker. I know, Mike, you're a jerkbait guy. And you know me, I like to power fish as well. So, when you talk about a late fall cold front, and we're going to call this late fall, are we not?
Oh, absolutely.
When you talk about a late fall cold front, you don't really think about power fishing. I do.
Yeah, I'm still power.
I mean, my tournament on Sunday, I'm power fishing
Well,
until I find out that it's not working.
it's called prove me wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, the thing about it, George, is from my standpoint, we might all disagree with this. I like to start with power fishing because I'm a weekend angler. I might not have been able to locate fish yet. I want to power fish so I can at least try to locate fish and not really hunker down in one area until I know that there's something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, this is a great situation where you fish through an area and you catch a decent fish. That's the tip of the iceberg. Not all these fish are active. But I don't know if you long-term listeners remember, but a couple of years ago, we did a show called, and it was in the winter, and it was how cold can you catch fish on a crankbait, jerkbait, etc. And we specifically focused on cold water cranking. And I think that's the name of the show, Cold Water Cranking. It was one of our really good shows that we did. And then that weekend, so we had, and that day, we talked about the 3-day rule, right, guys?
Yep.
3-day rule is famous 3-day rule. The first day after a big cold front, doom and gloom. Second day, turning that little bit of smile. Third day, they want to eat. It's money. That's the concept. Okay, it's a good thumbnail to follow. But that particular show, the day of the show, we were actually getting a little relief. Our water temperature was 36.8 the day we fished. And we destroyed fish on a crankbait. First stop, took a little bit to get dialed in, and it was just back to back to back to back for like 45 minutes, just hammering fish. We were putting pictures up on our social media that week of big smallmouths in front of a hummingbird graph that said 36.4 or 36.8. Made sure to point to the temp.
Oh yeah.
And the caption was practice what you preach. So you got to have the right crankbait to do that, guys, when it's that cold. Now, it's not that cold now. So the crankbait spread is a little bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Nick is throwing his rock crawler.
Yeah.
I know you're throwing your Fritz side. My secret weapon lies in the Rapala brand. And I mean, if you don't know what a Shad Rap is, I can't help you. I'm sorry. You're on the wrong station. You wanted to tune into something else. But I'm going to explain to you what a Shad Rap does. Now, my favorite is the X-Rap Shad. Okay, now this is a little smaller. This is a number 6. So this is a 7 Shad Rap Elite. This is a 7 Shad Rap OG. This is a 6 X-Rap Shad. X-Rap meaning it has the plastic body with the internal color. It's kind of like if you ever fish an X-Rap jerkbait.
Yeah.
That's a family of baits. This is their crankbait. This is probably the least popular selling bait they've ever made in the X-Rap family, unless you're a walleye fisherman. However, when it comes to catching super cold water bass, these X-Raps, they're kind of flat, but they're very, very subtle. And, that day, they were biting so good that I started testing. I thought, oh, this is a great time to test. Mm-hmm. And I put the Fritz side on. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't touch it. I'd pick this back up. I was throwing this one here. The X-Rap Shad. I pick it back up, catch fish. Pick up the Chick Magnet. Wouldn't look at it. Wouldn't touch it. Pick this one back up, catch a fish. So you got to have a crankbait that you almost have to pull it to feel it wobbling. You ever have fish a crankbait like that where it's super, super subtle? Mm-hmm. And, there's more than one way to skin a cat here. I mean, Megabass makes an awesome crankbait along that line. Shimano makes the Ember. It's just, you got your favorite, okay? But my point is, it needs to be subtle. And then they load on.
Yeah.
What do you got for me there, Nick?
The other thing about that crankbait that you have in your hands there is when you stop it, they suspend.
Yeah, this one.
And I love that.
This one does. Now, and this is a little tricky now. I throw this on 10-pound test line on a 7.2 medium moderate St. Croix glass or your favorite brand. They're all great. I love them all. But this bad boy right here is 5/16 of an ounce. So you're approaching the no-fly zone when you're throwing this bad boy. And I'm using on this setup here when I'm throwing this. When I get dialed in on this, it's on a 7.2 medium moderate St. Croix glass, and it is on a DC reel and 10-pound fluorocarbon. And this thing is a fish catching fool. It suspends, like you said. Now you can take your regular. Now this is the Elite Series, but you can take your regular X-Rap and you can take and put one size bigger hook on and a suspend dot and get it to do the same thing.
And I like that, George, because just like when you're throwing a jerkbait, you can get it suspend in the water. When you're reeling in that crankbait and you let it sit, sometimes those fish can't take it.
Next they can't. They can't.
Got to grab it.
They can't. Now, for obvious reasons, you said the word. That's another cold front equalizer, and that's the jerkbait.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, I know you do make changes on your jerkbait when the bite gets tough like that.
Well, whenever I'm fishing cold front stuff, I'm getting close to the bottom. I'm going to a +1. I'm going to a deeper lip bait, but it really comes down to cadence. You know, it really comes down to how fast I'm working that bait. And this is where the dead sticking comes into play, where you can get it down to that stump, to that particular piece of cover that you're fishing, and you can kind of stop it and let it hover there. And we're all using suspend and jerk baits and that kind of stuff to get down. But the big thing is letting that thing kind of soak there a little bit, counting it, where usually you're just pop reel, pop reel. You're 2, 3, 4, up to 8, 9, 10 seconds of just popping that bait and letting it sit. That really gets fish kind of looking at it. That gets fish to kind of come up and suck it in. And it really makes a big difference on that cold front snap. Just slow the cadence down. If you were doing 2, 3 seconds, maybe go 4, 5 seconds, and let it set in between. But then you can mess with your lips and go to those deeper diving style baits to get down in their face a little bit more, get closer to the bottom with it. And yeah, it'll make a big difference for you.
The other thing I've noticed with cold front jerkbait fishing, downsizing. I've noticed more often than not, if you're around fish and you're not getting bit and you're making color changes, before you give up on that, downsize. I was watching that team series event on Caddo Lake, and yesterday and the day before, fireworks occurred. Now, yesterday was a situation with a crankbait, but the day before, a situation occurred with Brent Erler where they were around all kinds of fish and they were sucking it. And, it was a cold front situation down in Texas, which, those fish, if anything, they're more susceptible. It's like a Florida cold front, as we saw in the EQ last week. And I had to smile because he busted out a pointer 78. And they immediately whacked him. Now it wasn't like it was just a lucky guess. He busted out that 78 after what they were doing wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look at a pointer 78, you look at a 110 junior +1.
Yep.
And again, insert your favorite brand of jerkbait.
Mm-hmm.
But pay attention to how that bait is suspending in the water column. Okay. When this water gets colder, the water changes its density, and those baits react differently. And I'm a big believer in a tough situation like that you want a absolute dead stick suspend or even a slight little bit of sinkage. And that may require a suspend dot. And you want to place that suspend dot between the base of the lip and the first hook hanger, what we'll call the chin. So this is obviously not a jerkbait, but if it were, we're going to put that suspend dot right there. We're not going to do that until we have determined that our bait's, rising, or if the fish are a little deeper, we want that thing to actually sink slowly. Like the Shadow Wrap Shad, which is designed to sink slowly. So think about that on making your adjustments.
Amazing how many times we talk about suspend dots and suspend strips and stuff, so much that whoever doesn't have them in their box is just crazy. You got to have them. It's something that you can adjust your baits on the fly really easy, and you can take them off really easy. And when it gets in these situations, I'm telling you, man, it can be that game changer.
Well, and you can also make adjustments on your baits with a hook change. Like, for example, you can take your front hook. Let's just use a 110 junior, and you want that thing to +1, and it's not suspending perfectly, or you want it to sink slowly. That has a fine wire hook on it. Go up one size to a standard wire. Same outcome.
Does change a lot of stuff with that. Yeah.
So don't be afraid to experiment with that stuff.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to Like, in other words, drink the Kool-Aid, buy into this fine-tuning behavior that we speak
Well,
of.
not only that, but the mental aspect of it. Just because, it's a really tough bite out there. If you really just dial into fishing and dial into really just embracing it and not letting it get in there and fog your brain, but now it's a challenge for you, and use it like that as, man, we need to figure out what's going on. It doesn't always work. Trust me. We've been out in cold fronts where we got it handed to us, but I love that challenge. I love the fact that it makes you start thinking, it makes you start looking, it makes you start wondering about your bait selection, it makes you start retying. All of a sudden you're clipping and you're tying and you're trying some different things. And that is what cold front fishing is. It's a lot of change, a lot of moving. The power fishing part of it, I really like for finding fish, but at some point you got to stop and you got to go back through all that, because you'll get a bite here and there power fishing, and then you come back through and slow down and then start dialing in on your baits. Then you can see if you can pick more fish up, and then just dial in. And by the end of the day, you kind of have your pattern, and you worked it out, and it worked really well. So it's a lot of fun.
So, Nick, we're talking a little bit about cranking. We talked about one of Mike's power fishing solutions is jerk. Where else are you going on this searching for cold front late fall bass?
So for me, I've seen it work this way. It's either you get them by a reaction, or you almost have to go slower than I like to fish.
So, what's another, other than cranking, what's another reaction for you that you really count on?
Another reaction I count on is a jerk bait. I mean, we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
I know I've done well, and you guys done very well, more than me, and that's with the lipless crank.
Oh,
crankbait.
dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought you'd never ask.
There you go.
I cannot, and I talk about this all fall long. I never stop talking about a lipless crankbait. I don't even know if I can get this out of the
I
package.
don't think you need to.
It's impossible.
Yeah, you don't need to get it out.
They're
There.
never coming out of the pack.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it out.
It's
there.
coming out.
Yeah, let's take it out.
So this is a Spro Uruku shad, which I really like. Again, insert your favorite brand. This comes out of the pack with gummies. But what I like about this bait for yo-yoing is it stands on its nose. So when this thing stands on the bottom, it stands on the bottom. And the yo-yo technique is deadly in this circumstance. This is like, I'll put this above that crankbait technique that I talked about. I should have talked about this first. This is deadly, and it is amazingly, it's amazing. It amazes me how few times I really get hung up doing this. Like, I very rarely lose one of these baits. But the fish eat this thing. A lot of times you go to pick it up, there's one on. He ate it on the way down, you go to pick it up, or on the way down, you just get that killer jig bite. Tunk.
But guys, I got to ask you this question with that bait, though. A lot of guys throw it out there and reel it in.
Mhm.
And then you got the yo-yo.
Oh, I'm yo-yoing it.
So at what point of the year do you do which one?
Well, I mix it up.
You could do both.
I mix it up. But when it's cold, I'm just saying.
Well, there's like the yo-yo is really good when it's cold, but you can kind of slow roll a rattle trap, and get the vibration part of it. You're not going to throw it out and reel it like you usually do. You know what I mean? But you can slow roll a rattle trap or, rattling bait like that and get the reaction. See, it's a noise. It's that, just to get the fish to roll up on it. A lot of times you just get to hit and it'll tell you a lot. But the yo-yo, when you pop it up and we've caught fish on yo-yo and all the way down to like crazy temperatures, like 34, 35 degrees. We caught him yo-yo.
Oh, it's awesome.
I mean, it's something that you can definitely do. But, there's days where that yo-yo, a slow retrieve's better, just that slow kind of bumping into stuff retrieves better. You know, you got to play with it.
So the yo-yo is very interesting. Take us through your yo-yo technique.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a 10-pound test fluorocarbon guy in this situation where it's, you know, it's late fall, it's a cold front, it's a tough bite, but big fish will eat. And this is a big fish technique. And what I'm doing is I'm casting it out there pretty good ways. You know, I have my area that I want it to work it through. I'm not like casting as far as I can, but I'm putting it where I need it to be. And I'm following it down. So this bait's sinking like this, and I'm following it like this. And I watch my line. When my line goes slack, I know I'm on the bottom. Pick up the slack, and it's not a rip. It's not a rip. You want this bait to, it's somewhere in between just picking it up and kind of surging it up. You know, you can definitely feel it. You know, it's doing its thing and then back down again. Now, how far up? 2 to 4 feet. I mean, I want to get it up so they can see it. If there's a lot of shad around, you got to be seen. Okay? You know, you're downtown walking through a crowd, Christmas shopping with your wife. That freaking lunatic, you know, that got pissed off on the corner there, you see him. This is that lunatic. That bass is sitting there just sucking on shad all day long. And all of a sudden, he's like, whoa.
You hit it on a drop too, Nick. I mean,
A lot of times
You got
it's just, and you'll get that either a jig bite or you'll pick up and they're there.
so your rod comes up, picks it up, and you all of a sudden now you feel the weight of it falling, and you just kind of sort of semi slack it down, and then hits the bottom, and then you just, you know, you can bring it up. You're not bringing it up real fast, but you're bringing it up at a speed, and then you're just kind of following it down. You know, you don't want to go with your rod. It's not. This isn't yo-yoing. This is losing complete contact and control of your bait. But you know, so it's a controlled fall back to your bait, and a lot of times you can actually feel it kind of, you know, kind of.
Oh, yeah. You better feel it on the way down.
Yeah, you kind of feel it kind of going like this on the way down, and it doesn't take long to learn, but it's something you got to learn that feel.
It's
you know,
real good.
And
It's a real good technique.
fluorocarbon 10-pound test is an absolute must with that.
For that situation.
It gives you all the feel in the world with it.
Now, if you're in like the Southeast in late fall with a cold front and you're fishing hydrilla, a little different situation.
Yeah, that's different.
Don't go in there with 10-pound
Yeah,
tests.
but if you're in one of those impoundments down there, you know, where you don't have a lot of the heavy
Hard
grass,
cover.
and you're in hard cover,
Do it.
and you're on points, and you're fishing points, like a lot of guys down there right now are fishing maybe secondary points back in the coves a little bit, or they're fishing main lake points. I don't know if they switched to that yet, but pretty soon they're going to switch to main lake points, and they're going to be, you know, they're going to be fishing 40, 44 degree water temperature, which is cold for them. And they're going to be yo-yo and traps and stuff down through there and doing their thing with that. And it's kind of the same thing. It's just, you don't yo-yo in the grass, you know, you're not doing
Oh,
it. You don't yo-yo in the grass.
Whoa. Randall Tharp, Matt Herron. I forget the guy whose daughter rides
Springtime,
barrel races.
springtime.
And Brian Schmidt,
Yeah.
they will yo-yo some grass.
Well, they will. And it's the emergent grass. It's nothing thick. It's emergent grass. And they do rip it out of that.
I don't know about that. You yo-yo. I yo-yo constantly. Too much.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about on that technique with these hard baits is bait color. You know, when you're around these shad, these freaking fish can get, if the water's clear and it's a cold front situation, they can get real damn particular.
Crazy.
For example, when you're looking at shad colored baits, like this bait right here is called Wild Shiner. So when I like that reflective finish, is clear water on a cloudy day. Okay. If I can't get them to bite this, then I'm going to go to a painted bait. No reflection. I'm going to go to, and Spro makes a color called Cellmate, which is kind of like a pearly white. Somebody spilt a little chartreuse into it, and it got like a pearl blue, pearl white, chartreusey glow. And it glows a little bit. And it looks like a shad that's dying with a purple back and white belly and silver sides. But there's not a lot of silver. It just looks like a shad. It's just kind of like,
It's kind of
it's over,
muted,
boys.
kind of your muted colors a little bit.
And then super clear, sunny, they make one that's a spooky shad. So it's a ghost minnow. Just a lot like jerkbait colors.
Yeah, transparent, flash, and paint.
A lot like
the,
jerkbait
that's
colors.
the three. That's the three things you need to learn about.
And you need to think about your watercolor, your sky color. These fish are down looking up. They're on the bottom looking up, or they're deep looking up. And that technique is killer. Killer. So who says you can't power fish in the winter after a cold front? I don't say it. Mike doesn't say it. Cameraman Nick doesn't say it. But you know what we do say? You have to finesse power fish.
Yeah.
And
Well-
then one bite is very telling. If you get one bite in an area and not another one,
Yeah.
we're not Kevin Van Dam on the trolling motor at this point. We're like, slow down, smell the coffee, pick up a spinning rod with the baits that we talked about, and pick that area back across for 15 minutes, and then repeat the process.
Yeah. Nick said something really important, I think, and that was reaction. Creating the reaction strike. Cold fronts. The fish don't even want to hit. I call it rolling up on the bait. It goes past them and they just roll up on it. And and you look at how you hook a lot of those fish, Nick. It's like, oh man, I barely got him. Get the net. I barely got him. It's always that back hook, because they're just rolling up on it. But then they want to eat it. But it was a bait a spinner bait. It was the rattle trap, the noise of that. It was a crankbait glancing off that stump. You know what I mean? That's, you bump the stump and the fish rolled up on it. It's the swim bait, the rig of the week swim bait tonight, coming through that wood and flicking off of a limb and creating something that gets the reaction. And that's another way you'll get bites in a cold front is reaction. You lose a lot of them. I could tell you that you lose a lot of them because they don't want it. They really don't want it. They're just hitting it because it's a reactive hit.
Well, not only that, in the cold water, their mouths are harder.
Yeah.
Their mouths are harder. And sharp hooks are very important. So, I'm like, man, I got the hook box out, the split ring pliers out. I'm changing hooks out. I'm touching them up with files.
Sharpening all day long.
I mean, you can't just let it go because you're working really hard for a bite.
Yep.
On a big fish, and then your dull hook costs you the fish. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
Good. No good on that.
Not on my watch.
So, guys, I got another question for you, real quick. We can't pick and choose when we fish. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But for the guy that's like, I'm not going out and fishing in that. At what point should things start to pick up for that person that doesn't want to go out in that?
Day 2 is definitely better than day 1, but day 3 is where the money's at. If you get 3 consecutive days in a row, that third day is money, and
Stable for that period of time.
it's kind of funny because in the winter, when it's freaking really cold, there is a morning bite. And then it kind of slacks off a little bit and then it picks up again. Typically, you can't set your watch by it, but it's really funny how many times we've observed
Stupid.
a morning bite.
Really doesn't make any sense.
I don't observe it as much as I used to because my idea of morning is 7's early.
It's not 5 o'clock.
No,
Well,
7's early.
It is. It's that daybreak. That daybreak couple like an hour. You get a weird bite, and it's crazy. They bite like crazy. It's We've seen it many, many times over. But you got to get there early. You know, you got to be there early. And then there is a lull. Like we always catch the tail end of it because we do go on at 7:00. And I always tell guys, we ain't getting there early because there is a warming bite. Once the water starts to warm, there's that bite in that later morning into the afternoon. There's always that. But I tell you what, as soon as that sun starts to dip down a little bit, they're done. They are freaking done, man. They don't want to eat at all. We stayed out. I can't tell you how many times we were catching them like crazy, and we were like, "Oh, we'll just stay right till dark, man. We're close to the ramp." It just shuts down, man. That sun dips below that hill or whatever, just a little bit. Still bright, still light out. That sun dips down a little bit. They are done. It is crazy.
Well, speaking of that, guys, though, one of you brought up at the beginning of this that sun hitting that bank is key too.
Super important.
Yeah.
And why is that, George?
Obvious reasons. The sun is beating on the bank. It's just comfortable. It's bringing out temperature. One of the things I look for is a little bug called a caddisfly. And they're just little bugs, and their wings are like, they look like a tent. And about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, not everywhere, but at a lot of places I've been, they'll be crawling around on you. It'll be like, those fish will feast on those. And they're an insect in a healthy body of water, and they have their timings. You know what I mean? It's not every day, but when it's right, it's right. Pay attention to that. That means the bite is on. If you're not catching fish, there's an indicator for you. It's an indicator. You are doing something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong, but you're doing something wrong. If you're power fishing,
yep,
pick up the Ned. If you're Ned fishing, pick up the power. Make a change. Like my dad would always say when we were pre-fishing or fishing a tournament, this ain't working. We got to do something different. If we were fishing grass, we'd go to wooden rock. If we were fishing wooden rock, we'd go to grass.
Yeah. Because
we were grasping at straws and we needed a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, listen, don't pass up on your fall, your winter. If you're new to this, get some warm clothes, wear your life jacket. Now, I will say this, put your life jacket on in the parking lot and take your life jacket off in the parking lot. And do not take your life jacket off in the water. Wear your life jacket. If you have a lot of clothes on and you have just one of those little old $99 inflatables, don't wear that. Put your button up on. That little sucker ain't going to hold you. You need a 38-gram bottle. Practice safety. Be careful. Don't fish by yourself in the winter. We have lost a fishing brother to the Chesapeake Bay recently, and they still haven't located or found him. And we're talking a very experienced man. And you know what? I don't care how good you are. It can happen, and
stuff happens.
Stuff happens. So, be careful. Take a minute, prep up. Now, remember, you get to the ramp in the morning and you're not the first one there and it's cold. What do you think happens when that trailer pulls up out of there and sprinkles that water all over the ramp? It's ice. You look in the back of my truck right now, there's gravel. People are like, what's all that gravel doing in the back of your truck? Don't worry about it. I like gravel in my truck. And I'll spread it on that ice.
Yep.
And be careful. When you're walking down the ramp, don't walk walk on the side of the ramp. You don't want to fall and crack your. You got to show a little respect to Mother Nature and the waterways in the winter.
And then you'll have a good day on the water.
And be careful.
Yep.
And there you go.
Listen, everybody have a great Thanksgiving with your families. Enjoy that. And
you know what I'm doing on Thanksgiving?
I know what you're doing.
I'm going fishing.
And just enjoy yourself with your families and be thankful that you have the family, because it's a great thing for that. And also make sure to get ready for the Black Friday sale starting online Tuesday, running through Sunday, and then in the shop here. If you're anywhere close, you want to be here in the morning, first thing Friday on Black Friday, because we got some special stuff for you. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
Hopeless lover, hopeless lover. I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you.